It's that time of the week again for another Retro Core, and this week we're taking a look at Fighting Vipers for the Sega Saturn. Obviously Sega Saturn, because that's all we cover. So we've got 9 lovely characters to choose from. At first, there are quite a few bonus characters as well, and this Japanese version has a very special bonus character which isn't in the Western versions, which you'll see later
Round
on.
1. Let the action begin. Go!
What's that? 3D background and a Sega Saturn 3D fighter? Can't be. Yes it is, and they're not flickering on and off like Last Bronx either. Yes indeed. Personally, in my opinion, Fighting Vipers is one of the most impressive 3D fighters on the Sega Saturn. Now while it doesn't run in the highest resolution like Virtua Fighter 2, and Last Bronx, come to think of it, it certainly doesn't run in the Saturn's low resolution either. It actually runs in quite a nice medium resolution. And unlike other 3D fighters, the characters' clothes are not just texture mapped polygon models. They're actually built onto the actual character's body using polygons. And as you can see, they're actually rock solid. There's no flickering, there's no graphical breakup, no polygons sticking through other polygons. It really does look quite nice. Aim to have done an amazing conversion here. As you can see, I've just smacked off Grace's top armor. Lovely. And something else you might notice, Western players of this game, or owners of the Western version I should say, Piggy's got Pepsi on the back of his skateboard. He's got a Pepsi logo in the background and a Pepsi truck as well. Could it be related to the secret hidden character? Could be. So anyway, you may notice that between the entry bars at the top of the screen, you've got a nice little red bomb. That's because we are actually playing in hyper mode. Now what hyper mode lets you do is throw off your own personal armor at the very beginning of the match, which allows you to do faster attacks. Unfortunately, it leaves you to be prone to enemy attacks, which means if you're not very good, you're going to get your ass kicked pretty quickly. Other modes include Arrange mode, which seems to be basically the same as the arcade mode, and of course Original mode, which is the arcade mode.
Round 1. Let the action
As well as the one-player game, you've also got a lovely versus game. You've got training mode, obviously most 3D fighter games do seem to have that. And you also got a very nice mode where it allows you to record your actual bouts and then play them back at a later date to show your friends just how cool you are at the game. Or how shit you are. Oh, I love that. Smack him off the elevator.
go!
Another thing that Fighting Vipers does manage to do, which I don't think any of the other 3D fighting games do, is very good light sourcing. As you can see here, you've got different lights in the corner of the ring, and they actually do shine the light onto the playable characters in real time.
Fighting Vipers.
So as you can see here, we've got the plus options section, and this appears when you finish the game a certain number of times, and you get various different modes such as big head mode, invisible walls, and these lovely CG portraits. Very racy that one was, wasn't it? So here we go with the playback mode, which I mentioned before. Built into the actual game is a load of exhibition matches which were played by some of Japan's top Fighting Viper players, apparently, and you're actually able to load these up and watch the actual matches played out.
Begin. Go.
Whoever's Sandman's certainly getting his ass kicked here. That's him dead.
Round 2. Go.
So as far as the game plays, it's pretty much like every other Sega 3D fighting game. You've got a block, a punch and a kick, and you can do combinations of those buttons to pull out different moves. Oh yeah, the secret character Pepsi Man. Now to get Pepsi Man up, all you have to do is let Picky knock you out with a perfect. And then next time you start a round, Pepsi Man will come on.
Round 1. Let the action begin. Go!
Now, first, Pepsi Man isn't actually a playable character. You can only fight against him. But if you beat him, he then becomes a playable character. And believe me, Pepsi Man is one of the best characters in the game. He really does kick ass. So just perfected Pepsi Man there.
Grace wins.
And now we'll be able to control Pepsi Man.
Let the action begin.
Here we go.
Go!
I must apologise, the sound effects have gone out of sync here. I don't know what happened when I was editing the video, but Virtual Dub seems to have messed up the audio. It's only slightly out. Thumbs up from Pepsi Man there, but his next winning pose is much better.
Go!
It's pure class. Now, a bit unusual for Retro Core, but I'm actually going to show you the arcade version of Fighting Vipers now, just to show you how close the Sega Saturn version actually is. Now, when you consider the difference in power between a Model 2 arcade board and a Sega Saturn, it really does make you appreciate how good the conversion is. Now, unfortunately, I actually captured this video from my computer screen using my new video capture card, but unfortunately I forgot to change the sound settings, so there was actually no sound, so I've actually dubbed over some of the Fighting Vipers music. So anyway, as you can see, the arcade version does look a lot bigger than the Sega Saturn, and of course the actual backgrounds are in 3D, whereas the Sega Saturn version, only the actual cage surrounding the fighting area is in 3D. But I would say that the Sega Saturn's characters do have a lot better shading on them. The Model 2 game does seem to be a lot more blocky looking, but of course it's a lot bigger and it runs at a higher resolution as well. But I'm sure you can appreciate how good the conversion is for the Sega Saturn. Very, very impressive. Now you're probably wondering what those little green bodies are in the corner next to the entry bar. Well, basically that's your armor gauge. So the more you beat the crap out of the top half of the body, as you can see, Honey's bottom half's flashing now, which means she's about to lose her skirt if she doesn't be careful. Basically it's just a guide to show you how much armor power you've got left. And of course, once your armor goes, you're pretty much vulnerable to a whole manner of attacks. So if you've never actually played Fighting Vipers, I certainly do recommend you buy it for your Sega Saturn, and it is incredibly cheap. I sell it on my store for a very cheap price as well. It's definitely worth picking up, and make sure you get the Japanese version because that's the only version with Pepsi Man. You'd be crying if you don't get Pepsi Man.